unless you've been hiding under a rock, you know that cybersecurity threats are ever increasing. It's constantly getting worse, but is that really the whole story? Or is it just a distraction of what's really important underneath, which is protecting your data? I'm Matt Trudwin, Technical Solutions Specialist here at NetApp, focused on security, and we're gonna dive into all those details today. And I'm here with...
Hi, my name is Mignana Coche. I am the Chief Security Officer at NetApp. And Matt, I consider you security guru. You know, I go to you for everything.
I think I just have an ever-changing title, so you know what? I'm gonna go with that. What, security guru? Let's go with
Well,
that.
I mean, how do you keep up with everything? You know everything.
You know, it's not easy. I have a passion, especially about data security, and so that's where I really focus, right? There's multiple angles, but I feel like at the end of the day, that is our most valuable asset and our customers' most valuable asset. I love all things security. And what I hear from my customers, though, is they have security teams putting a lot more mandates on them now and stuff, and we talk about the data storage side of security, but how do you see the two of those merging? You know, you've got the security teams and what they're concerned with, and the storage guys and data security. Where does those meet? Or can you do one or both, or what does that look like to you?
Well, first of all, I think the storage people should know about security, and the security people should know about storage. And I'll give you one perspective, though. The security people have to know about every technology. And like, how do we keep up with every technology? So what I think would work better is if the storage people actually engage the security people when they're configuring and setting up their environment, saying, hey, what's important? Because storage, you want it to turn on, you want it to work, you want to have uptime, speed, all those other things, but you also want it to be secure. You got to have all those settings, and I hope they're all turned on by default. But there's different regulatory requirements, different industries. Like if you're in the healthcare industry, there's certain things you got to have. If you're in financial, certain things you got to have. So your security person is going to know that, engage them, and they're going to also want to make sure it's immutable. So I think both parties need to come together.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more with that, actually, and that's what I'm really challenging our storage admins to do. They don't realize how much security capabilities and power are in NetApp products, particularly ONTAP. And there's a lot of things that I think security teams would love to hear that was at the data layer. I mean, you've talked about it before as well, is having the additional layer of protection on the storage at the data is just, I think it gives you peace of mind, right?
It does give me a peace of mind because I know no matter what, the data is protected. So all the other things that happen, we can deal with it. But as long as we've got our data and know that it hasn't been stolen, exfiltrated, encrypted, or whatever it is today, that we are protecting our company and we can rest.
But cloud feels like it has some interesting complexities to it. I know you have a background in the cloud. What could you share about, like, what's different about securing the cloud? What makes that difficult, or what can you share around that?
Well, there's a couple of thoughts around the cloud, and one is with the cloud you can reimagine how you develop security. You don't have to think of so many tools. Instead, you can build it in the actual code for deploying the cloud. And so I always have been fascinated by that, because one of the things that we suffer through in the security world is so many vendors. We need a way to simplify security. And so simplifying it gets down to less vendors and also simpler ways to do that. In the cloud, you can do that with code. Now, naturally, we have to always scan our environments to make sure there's nothing showing to the internet that opens up our environment that maybe a threat actor can get in without authenticating, like straight through. So we continuously scan to make sure we're protected. So there are tools that allow and focus solely on the cloud to make sure that there's not those holes, and then you've got the layer with the actual configurations within the code. But you brought up the fact that we actually have that underlying ONTAP environment for our storage, which no matter what, we know that we have the controls that we have within our storage environment, which gets me very excited. So kind of the cloud, you got three layers: your configurations, your code, and then you get to the storage, and voila, it's all protected.
And it's the same storage, right?
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter what's on. That's awesome. And Secure by Design, I believe we did something there recently with Secure by Design.
We did. So Sista came out with Security by Design, and we signed the pledge. And so what that meant is we signed up, I think, to 9 or 10 different controls that we're going to have, along with many other key players in the industry. It's a table stakes to make sure that we are not using default settings,
Yeah.
that we are actually using MFA, and a whole another array of controls like vulnerability management and actually eradicating vulnerability classes. So that's going to be a big one for us all to go
So
over.
can we do that? Can we actually eradicate all of it?
I've been thinking about it. Can you imagine getting rid of SQL injection and cross-site scripting? That has been showing up in every scan I've been doing for 20 years. It's like,
If you can solve that, I
my
think
job comes easier.
it's everybody's job easier. That's a great point.
Yeah.
We are a data security company at NetApp. We hope that you don't have to end up using our security capabilities, right? We kind of think of ourselves as last line of defense. But should a ransomware attack get through what we've already talked about, phishing and other things, and finally hit the storage, the autonomous ransomware protection, I'm so excited about it. What it does is, you probably heard about AI being used by the bad guys to cause a lot of havoc. It's a new threat. We're using it for good at NetApp. We've taken an AI model, artificial intelligence model, and we have trained it internally at NetApp to look for ransomware. It looks at signatures, it looks at file headers, data entropy, which is randomness of data file extensions. And based on all that, we saw internally we were able to detect 99% of known ransomware today. And false positives were less than 1%. So we say 99% accuracy. Of course, that's what we've seen internally. What was great though is we didn't want them to have to take our word for it. So we went out to SE Labs, and they do a great job in testing all these things. And we said, hey, we think this thing's a big deal. Can you test it? And they, in fact, tested as well. And they said, no, your 99% accuracy rating is correct. They validated that. And so I think that's a huge deal, right? It's not just us saying it. We have that third-party validation. And now it's much easier to turn on as well. When we first released autonomous ransomware protection, it required the admins to do a little more, tweak it a little bit. Now with the new model, the AI model, you turn it on, secure by default out of the box, and 99% accurate. You click one button, good to go. So yeah, I'm very excited about that one, as you can tell.
Let me ask you a question though. There's sometimes new ransomware that comes out. So how do we keep up with it?
That's right, 99% is not 100. So the key there is we think about recoverability. We think about the NIST cybersecurity framework: govern, identify, protect, detect, respond. The last one is recover. And we talked about this previously. You hope you never have to get there, but at the end of the day, that is a possibility that exists. That less than 1%. And so if that happens, we have quick, efficient snapshot backup copies you can recover from. I mean, I'm talking about terabytes of data in seconds. We call it a snapshot because you literally store it like that in a snap, right? Hundreds of terabytes. The challenge there is that these snapshots can be deleted. So we don't want those snapshots to be deleted if we need to recover. I know with ransomware attack, the malicious actors, rather they try to get in there, delete snapshots. So with our Cyber Vault, we also have a way to 100% guarantee that these snapshots are immutable and they can't be getting rid of. And we do that with SnapLock technology. So you'll always be able to recover on NetApp storage, no matter what. That backup's always going to be there to be able to recover from. There's no way to delete it. It has a retention period on it, and you just figure out what works for your organization. Maybe 30 days, 60 days, 90 days. You can go as long as you want, and it will always be there to recover from. And so that's how we handle that. Any last thoughts?
Well, naturally, I'm delighted to be here and get to hear all these new things that we're doing. I love to think of myself as part of the family and getting to influence it, and I have the personality to like to invite myself to the table. So I think we're at the change of an era. We're at a change of where security now, we've had it with the hackers, we've had it with all the other, bad things, accidental things happening. And to me, this is a great time to be in security because we're seeing it change. We're going to know our data is protected. And with that, we all can be delighted and rest and get past this staying up all night waiting for Teams messages to ding me that something's going on.
Yeah, absolutely. I know that's where our storage admins absolutely want to be, right? They don't want to be putting out fires, and so we want to give them that peace of mind.
Yeah.
So I think everything we talked about today is going to provide that. To close this out, I'm really excited about all the capabilities that we're adding to secure data at NetApp, and I do feel really strongly in that statement that we make that we are the most secure storage on the planet.
Well, thank you for your time, Matt.
Thank you for having me here today, Mignana, and having this conversation.
Oh, you gonna shake my hand?
I appreciate it. Yeah, let's do that. And thanks for everybody for watching.